Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück hier auf dem Blocktrainer YouTube-Kanal. Heute hier von der BTC Prag. Und ich habe hier niemanden geringeren als Samson Mow, ehemaliger CSO vom Blockstream und heute mit seinen eigenen Projekten unterwegs. Er ist vor allem dafür bekannt, in El Salvador einige Dinge auf den Weg zu bringen. Und wir möchten heute mal herausfinden, wo wir heute so stehen von den Projekten her. Hello, Samson. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, good to meet you, Roman.
Thank you. Samson, what's going on in El Salvador? We see so much new news. What is the biggest part you think it's coming ahead for us?
Well, El Salvador is doing a lot of good things, and they're on track to be a destination for Bitcoiners. They have a number of really important laws that they put forth, like the Bitcoin law, the digital securities law that allows things like Bitcoin bonds, but also just general embracing Bitcoin and free market. So a lot of Bitcoiners want to go to El Salvador and move there.
Yeah, I heard of it. A lot of Bitcoiners are moving to traveling, but especially investing in El Salvador. I think it's good for the country. What about the Bitcoin bonds? I heard the law is now, the law stands, it's finished and everything is made. What's coming ahead there?
Well, the laws were needed to issue the Bitcoin bonds, so they could do that or they could do other things too. But I think the goal of that law was to position El Salvador as a hub for digital assets. Not digital assets like shitcoins, but more like security tokens or things like that, or tokenized company shares, or things like the Bitcoin bonds or sovereign debt. So it's very interesting from that perspective because this is the base of building a new financial system on top of Bitcoin.
Okay. And what about the Bitcoin City? Heard you something new about this? Because
no news.
No news. Okay.
You have to ask the president, President Bukele.
Yeah, probably I will have the chance to do this in the future.
Yeah.
What about Jan3? Do you want to explain what Jan3 do?
Yeah, so Jan3 is a Bitcoin tech company. We're developing a new wallet that's based on Bitcoin and Liquid, Bitcoin sidechain. So it'll support Bitcoin and Tether natively. So I think this is an important piece of technology that's good for the global south because they actually seek dollar-denominated value. Countries like Venezuela, Argentina, they all look for dollars. And right now they're using dollars on altcoin chains, but we can bring all that to a Bitcoin sidechain. So that's the goal. We want to suck all that volume out of altcoin chains and bring it to Bitcoin chains. But we also do a lot of nation-state adoption. We're engaged with other governments, other countries, to try to orange pill them and get them adopting a Bitcoin standard. I think this is important for El Salvador because then they have more allies. Because if El Salvador is the only country that is adopting Bitcoin, it's a lonely position and they can get attacked by the IMF or World Bank. So more countries that have a Bitcoin standard means more allies for El Salvador.
Absolutely. And what do you do with Jan3 in El Salvador right now?
So we have a company set up in El Salvador. So one of the companies that's set up in El Salvador, a number of others have gone there as well, take advantage of the new laws and regulations. We have an office there. It's actually in a volcano crater, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
It's not an active volcano, so don't worry. But yeah, we have an office there. We're starting development. We're hiring people now to build our wallet, and hopefully we'll launch that in a couple months.
Yeah, I hope so. You was recently in Mexico. What's going on there?
Yeah, so many countries are interested in Bitcoin, and there are politicians pushing for Bitcoin adoption. So in Mexico, you have Senator Indira Kempes. So she arranged for me to go and visit their Congress, their Senate, and meet with other senators. We met with the head of the Treasury Committee to talk about a Bitcoin strategy where they could buy Bitcoin for their national treasury. But yeah, it's just starting discussions with politicians. And all over Latin America, we're going to see elections in the next year to 4 years. And that means a lot of change in power. So we're trying to meet ahead of time with those politicians before they are presidents and prime ministers to orange pill them and teach them about Bitcoin.
Are they open for Bitcoin?
Yes, I think so. And I think they're more open than a lot of Western countries because there is necessity there, right? They need sound money. They need investments. They need a sound financial base. So there's a lot of interest there. But what we go out with the message of is that Bitcoin is simply money. And money is now energy and information. And we tell them, if you have energy, if you have excess hydropower, you can mine Bitcoin and you can become a very rich nation by mining Bitcoin.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of the biggest needed in this very poor countries. What do you think about the Tether volcano mining thing that's going on there in Salvador right now?
I think it's great. I mean, they're bringing investment to El Salvador. It shows a strong commitment from the Tether team that they are focused on El Salvador. And the more important thing is it decentralizes hash rate. So I think they're aiming for a $1 billion investment, and that should allow them to take a good chunk of hash rate. And maybe, El Salvador will be a mining hub. But the more that is moved out of the US, the better, because right now I think there's an over concentration of hash rate in the US just as it was in China before, and that's not really ideal.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good time here on the conference.
Thank you.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.